In this short video, I want to give an example of what a folder or a lesson in my class would look like. For this particular class was set up as an 8-week class and had 8 lessons. I then reorganized it or quickly relabeled the due dates so that an 8-week class, a 3-credit 8-week class could turn into a 16-week class just by rearranging the folders and the weeks and that sort of thing. So I try to keep how I organize things very flexible so that I can package them the way the college wants them as far as a 10-week, a 16-week, and 8-week class. I start with the objective so that students can see the goal behind the assignments. And then here are the assignments listed out as a to-do list with approximations of time that they will spend on each one of these items. I'm going to ask them to brush up on some punctuation and mechanics skill and concepts. And more than trying to, at this point, give them a lecture. I think I may lecture a bit here as a video file, but I really try to send them straight to links on the web so that they can get in the habit of trying to find material themselves over these marks, and that way when they need to later do this for another class, they have practice, just basically Googling these things and learning from pages that they find, and then ignoring other pages that approach these issues at a level that doesn't help them as someone trying to get the basics on this. So in sending them to the internet, they have to start discerning which links are actually going to help them or not. And they get used to it, and then they eventually say, hey, I can do this with a lot of stuff. So that's what I want to try to do there. Here, just as a side activity, I have them learn words. Almost all of my classes, I have some sort of diction development unit that just to try to get them into the habit of, say, learning 3 new words a week. And I'll give them credit for some of these. So I have a video here that tries to explain to them why I want them to do this. Not only do I think it makes them a better writer, also a better reader, but they can have more different shades and nuances to their thoughts because of their increased arsenal of how to articulate and encode those thoughts. So I give various reasons here as to this, and then I point them to, say, a service like dictionary.com, which would give a word of the day service. Now here, this is responding to, I think, an assignment I had 2 weeks ago, or 2 folders ago, a previous assignment in which I gave them scrambled up paragraphs that were actually from published work. And then I had them on their own, just from the sentences, reassemble the paragraphs. And here I want them to see the keys. So they've already sent this in. I've already graded it. And, at this point, once I start giving keys out, I will not accept any revision of the work or submission of the work. So they know that. But I do allow them to see the keys so they can see why their paragraph rearrangement was good or not so good. Now at this point, I start introducing another assignment, the written assignment for the folder. If there's more than one, usually there's going to be more than one, but there's always at least one writing activity per folder. And this one pertains to writing a critique and for a nonfiction persuasive text. So I talked to them about this, and I'll basically ask them just to click on the link and then to watch the video of me talking about this. And while it loads, I want to explain that. So it's going to be a 6-minute video, and I'm going to go ahead and actually cut it off here before it starts interrupting my dialogue. But I want to make the point that a lot of my work, a lot of my video lectures are going to be in YouTube because it helps the student after the students leave my class. My students can go back to my channel and get this material again. So if I leave it only in the Blackboard space, as soon as they exit the class, as soon as the semester is over, the doors close on them, so to speak, as far as being able to come back into this space and see this material again. So I really do insist on archiving them on a public space like that, so that these students can have this material for years after my class. Now, what I'll do here is I'm going to say, hey, you need to write a critique. Let's start with how to summarize something and how to look at a text based on the levels of data it gives. And then I'll ask them to read this article, and then I will actually begin writing the summary on it. Now, this article and this video it's the same thing. So this is not going to be the article they write about, but if they read it and watch how I write the summary, here I show them how I would read it to find the main points and the thesis. And then here I actually begin writing the summary for that article. Then when they get the article that they have to write on, they get more of an idea. Here I explain what a critique is, how to write a summary for it, how to write an evaluation, and then since I'm going to give them one source, we'll start practicing how to cite it in MLA, so I give them video direction on that. Here is another attempt at giving them insight on my grading and how I would assess their work, and they would have this article. In the video, I'll take them to the article and say, look, you're not writing about this. This is yet another example. Students have looked at this article, and students in the past have written on this. And here is, if you read the article and you watch how I examine their critiques, you get an idea of how I'm going to grade this. So now, I often do that. I often let students see other students' work and as a screen capture video, and then the present student can watch how I grade, how I have graded this assignment in the past. Now, all of these student models, I've received permission from the students to do it, to put their work up. I've taken off their name, so it's anonymous, and it's from another college, it's from another semester. So there really is no way that one student will ever figure out who wrote what. And I try to be respectful and appreciative of all the writing I get. But I do use these models to say, hey, look, here's a student who wrote here, this was strong, this was weak, this is something you should avoid, this is something you should emulate or imitate. And giving that sort of feedback has really helped a lot of my students. Again, I just want to stress it's by permission and it's anonymous. Here is the actual assignment. So they would click on this, right, and then they would submit it. Here is the reading they had to critique. And the requirements as far as length, and then I remind them, hey, you need to watch, remember the videos, go back to see them if you ever run into trouble. At this point, I'm going to be moving on into a different concept, and I'm going to be prepping the students for lesson 4. This is lesson 3, in which we really investigate at more length the differences between a popular text and an academic text. And then here are examples of what I would consider to be popular texts. So they get to feel it out, and by reading these examples. And it's in a spectrum. Some are truly very short and popular in the sense it's to a broad audience. It's less rigorous with the data. It's colloquial. It's sort of a prompt for thinking, not at all to be accepted as the final word on any sort of analysis. And yet, then there is a more hefty or substantial writing in a magazine. This would be a news article. This is a magazine. And then this is this actually, Falling in Love with a Robot, is from the Chronicle of Higher Education. So that would be right on the line between a popular and an academic text. And I'm doing this so that they could get a feel for the spectrum. And what I actually have them do here, right here, is take these 5 readings and learn how to write a quick review of literature. And how to summarize them quickly, how to start with the name of the author, name of the text, what it's all about, move on to the next one, do this in a paragraph or 2. And these instructions are very, very particular. I think I have 10 steps that they go through, and if they write each step the way I'm asking them to, and then put them together, they end up with a pretty decent paragraph length review of literature for these sources. This is where they would submit the work. So they learn about it here, they read the articles, and they actually write it in this assignment. And now I want them at this point in the class, this is College Writing 2, to start thinking about their own research topics. So I'll have them first bounce their ideas off each other on a discussion board. And then I'll give them an example of how they should they should post a topic paragraph or an articulation or about a tentative or potential topic. And they'll get feedback on this from their peers, and eventually they'll use all that material to write a topic section to their research paper. Now here, I really design a lot of this so that I don't need textbooks, but if a school wants me to use a textbook, I can, and I'll just incorporate some sort of check to make sure the students are reading the work. And up here, I also like to have a parallel or an ancillary module happening where students are learning about the superficial nature or the surface level skills of crafting sentences with proper sentence boundary. So here I have the videos where they will watch on their own as far as sentence mechanics, the verbs, subjects, finding direct objects, indirect objects, subject complements, object complements, prepositions, nouns, and all of this is working to the preliminary sentence characteristics. They'll take 2 tests on these throughout a 16-week course or an 8-week course, a 3-credit course, I should say. They'll take 2 tests on this just so that they can assure me that they're actually following my lectures and getting the notions of how a sentence is constructed and how to consistently avoid sentence boundary errors. So I think that's valuable, and I've had students that have really taken this to heart and worked at this. I stress to them, hey, you can really develop your content and develop your ideas and your analysis, your perspectives, your contributions. But if you are consistently undercutting your good ideas with sloppy surface mechanic material handling of these issues, no one's going to take you seriously as a writer. So that is one thing I do stress. Not over much. This is not a grammar class, but I do want them to get some basic idea. All right, and I hope that this has given you a basic idea of how I would structure a lesson. And again, if this is structured for an 8-week class, a 16-week class. But because there's 2 weeks worth of work here, so over 16 weeks, that's how I would do it for a 3-credit class. If it were 8 weeks, a 3-credit class, they need to do double the work in 1 week. I would just have maybe week 3 right here or something like that. So thanks again for watching. I hope this has given you a good idea of how I would handle this an online class.